Flipper Audio presents an unabridged recording of The Amazing Mrs. Pollifax by Dorothy Gilman, narrated by Barbara Rosenblatt. This book is copyrighted 1970 by Dorothy Gilman. This recording is copyrighted 2003 by W.F. Howes Limited. Once again, the irrepressible Mrs. Pollifax, that very special agent with her own very special brand of logic, is off on an incredible escapade of international intrigue, from the exotic towns and countryside of Turkey to a mysterious rendezvous with a gypsy caravan. And now, The Amazing Mrs. Pollifax.
Chapter 1. Mrs. Pollifax had attended church that Sunday morning, and her hat, a garden of pale pink roses and green leaves, still sat on her head as she ate lunch in the sunny kitchen of her apartment. She had a tendency to be absent-minded lately about hats. In fact, since beginning karate lessons, she had become forgetful about a number of things, and since she would be going out again soon, she had anticipated the problem by placing her hat where it could not possibly be left behind. This freed her mind for more important matters, such as a review of pressure points, or how to unbalance an assailant with an elbow-upward strike. But Mrs. Pollifax was conscientious by nature, and if her karate textbook lay to the right of the sugar bowl, the Sunday edition of the Times lay on its left. She sighed faintly over her choice, but it was the Times to which she turned first, carefully unfolding its front page for a quick scanning of the headlines. "Enemy agent defects in Istanbul, then vanishes," she read. "Woman had sought sanctuary in British consulate, mysteriously disappears." "Well!" exclaimed Mrs. Pollifax delightedly, and promptly forgot both lunch and karate. Some months earlier, a small episode of espionage had inserted itself like an exclamation point in Mrs. Pollifax's long, serene, and unpunctuated life. Once it had ended, and she had enjoyed every moment of it, she had resumed her quiet existence with a sense of enrichment, of having added a dimension to her thoughts that could only be described as a chuckle. That chuckle was present now as she plunged into the news story, for not only was the defecting agent a woman, but her past was so lengthy that Mrs. Pollifax guessed that fewer than 6 years separated them in age. "How very astonishing," she thought, reacting with the fascination of an amateur confronted by her professional counterpart. The news account promised a biography of the woman. Mrs. Pollifax's glance longingly caressed it, but with an exercise of will, she saved it for the last. At 10 o'clock on a summer evening, with a sedative and a cup of tea. In the morning she had vanished, and this was all that the consul, tight-lipped and shaken, allowed himself to say. But rumors swept Zabo's life. There were a surprising number, for an enterprising journalist had pieced together a great many news items.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.